Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I think I need to set up a few more tables in the Lego City because we're running out of flat table space, and if I'm ever going to bring all the rest of the old Lego room down here, then these need to be horizontal, so I've got somewhere to put it all. Alright, well after doing all the complicated wiring that's now currently underneath those tables and clearly marked out and sort of detached for creating a sort of wiring loom later on, I now am in the position where I can add some more tables, and I've got three here, some with legs on already, some not, from the old Lego room, all of them 120 by 60 centimeters, and they'll be lined up sort of end on in this section, 1, 2, 3, and then all of that stuff that's currently in boxes there can just be stored neatly underneath. In fact, it'll clear a bit more space for even more storage underneath, but most importantly, it'll give me, about 2 square meters of storage space to bring down all the builds from the old Lego room and make a bit more progress on there because, well, yeah, it's getting overdue, isn't it? A bit embarrassing. Now, I'm a bit nervous about doing this because it means that this mine is going to be very hard to reach. I mean, it is done, but essentially, well, I'll only be able to stand this close to it and be leaning to reach it in the future. So hopefully everything's in the right place. I suppose I will be able to kneel on those tables once they're in. But yeah, that isn't ideal position for working. And what we're going to be doing on these tables is, well, having them slightly lower than the ones that are already here, so they accommodate the fairground, of course. This whole section is going to be an enlarged fairground, and on the right where all the construction stuff is at the moment, we're going to have our great big loop coaster, and then pretty much a facsimile of what we had before, probably with a bit of shuffling of all the rides to make it still work, covering this entire side. So it's going to be absolutely huge, and it'll be lower because we need that 3 brick height cavity underneath for all of the wiring, kind of like a really deep Mills plate, but it fits all the motors in as well, most importantly. So there's no wires, no motors, no battery boxes visible in a fully motorized fairground. So that's the plan there. And as if that wasn't complicated enough, we then need to raise a section along the back wall, just that little bit higher, back up those 3 brick height with a plate on top, so we can have the rail lines going along against the wall. Now I've got 8 studs right up against the wall so we can do some facade later. And I think those facades are going to be sort of more industrially, maybe some taller sort of skyscraper buildings, but I don't know, I'm thinking it's more sort of countryside, like the edge of the city this direction, and the central business district is kind of in the other way. So yeah, well, anyway, we've got 8 studs there that we won't be filling today, then 8, then 4, then 8, then 4. So we'll have 1 strip of bright green base plates going along that edge with the train on, which means we'll be able to, well, do a bit more of our project of linking it all the way back up to here so we can have a loop. Obviously we've got all the stuff on the floor currently that will be the main train station going up the middle, but yeah, I think the first target for the trains is to get 1 huge loop on the outside on both tracks. So yeah, 1 step towards that as well, and then I can use, yeah, the remaining sort of 4 base plates or so just for storage while I'm doing other parts of the city. Because yeah, it's a bit of an exercise of detaching something, giving it a vacuum, bringing it down here so it's clean, and then incorporating it into the city and adding the new stuff as we go. So yeah, lots of stuff to get on with, but I've wittered long enough, so I'm going to get on with getting these tables the exact right height and in there. Table 1 in and level. And there's no real way around, just a bit of trial and error in getting the height absolutely perfect with the height adjustable legs. Olov, I think they're called, from IKEA. They're the ones I use. But yeah, it's not too hard to get that height right with just a few tweaks and so on. So that is absolutely level, whether it's on the higher table or on the lower one with a base plate and 3 plates in between. So that's good along its entire length. And then I just have to work out how I'm supporting that section along the back wall there that's going to have the rail line on. I could use 1,000,000 tons of bricks, but that seems a bit wasteful. So I'm going to use some of the spare shelves that I had left over from my units that I've got on their side for the undersea and underground profile levels, and I'm going to cut them down so they're the exact same width as a base plate or slightly under, so there'll kind of be a strip of table along the wall, but I'll still need to support that to get the height right. And I've been playing around, and the height, just a bit of off-cut table there, plus a brick and a plate, which isn't too wasteful, sort of here and there as kind of feet, or a brick, a plate and a tile are about right. And I think it's the brick, the plate and the tile. If I kind of put that underneath here, my kind of measuring device, you'll see that it's roughly right. I think that's a millimetre, well, half a millimetre too high, but I think that is closer than without the tiles. So yeah, I've got loads of random coloured tiles to get rid of, and even some stained ones as well, so that shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, I think the next thing is to get my saw out and cut down some of this and maybe get one of these sections done. I'm also thinking for the other two tables, because the access issue, especially to that far corner, which I haven't done even remotely yet, if I put them sort of left to right rather than end on, then essentially I can lift out temporarily the near side one for better access to the corner and then kind of push it back while I'm working. And it'll also mean that we've got less table legs on this front sort of angle, which means storage will be a bit easier as well. So I think that's a brainwave. It's a slight improvement as well. So yeah, maybe I'll get that back table in first, and then we can do all the sawing at once. All right, well, we've got the lefty-righty table in and the right height compared with the city level. Absolutely perfect on there. Perfect-ish. But there's a big problem. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, in that this table is right relative to that one, and this one is right relative to that one, but they aren't at the same height at all. In fact, they're the best part of a centimetre out in the middle from each other. And I was kind of thinking, well, is this table at the right height, or is that one? Well, it turns out it's that one. So essentially this whole section of the city, not the docks, because that's a different height altogether anyway, but basically this table and this table and this table need to all go up by that differential so they'll match the rest of the city. I suppose this is one of the problems with starting at different corners at the same time. I think I remember realizing that might be the case, and I just wanted to get it approximately right, thinking I could do the fine-tuning later. Well, that fine-tuning is now. So, yeah, annoyingly, I'm going to have to get underneath all of these with stuff on top and get them all level with each other and, well, relative to each other and relative to that one, and, nightmare. Well, that was not fun at all. Not my favourite job by any stretch, adjusting all of the table legs underneath this section to make them level and the right height with everything else. But we have done it. We've got that side of the city being level with that side of the city and everything in between, or, well, the prerequisite distance lower anyway. And you can see I've sawn those shelves, those spare bits of wood, to the right depth. So they're just slightly less deep than a base plate. And I've got 3 of those all the way along to the other side. And we've got a nice sort of smooth connection now. Absolutely fantastic. And all of that's held up by all sorts of different struts made out of damaged bricks or unpopular colours or unpopular pieces. And they just fit under a plate, a brick and a tile to give it that support. And I have these extra ones sort of on the edge so they don't go walkies underneath there and it ends up not being supported. And I've even used those really old wing plates and things like that that don't have the connections that enable you to attach them to other plates and weird curved tiles and all the rest of it. So everything is very firmly held in position, and there's even some sort of lip pieces on the underside of the back row so they won't go walkies into the area underneath. So it should be something I don't have to go back to ever, fingers crossed. But yeah, now we've got a nice black bit of wood real estate to put that entire length of base plates all the way along this wall, which means we're about 2 meters towards our goal of getting the 2 outer train loops finished, linked back up with the castle and the opening of Brick Bay with those bridges. So yeah, that is good progress. I'll have to liberate some more tables though before I can really finish that side behind me at the moment. Anyway, yeah, looking very good. And I think I'm going to have a road going off into the distance, sort of to Brick Derby or something about here. But I don't know exactly where, so I might not do the full crossing on that piece of base plate, but I might put it in just to sort of give a hint of where it might be in the future, because it will probably move depending on how the road sort of ends up winding its way to that location. But I can put loads of bright green base plates right up to that point with the rail line on, of course, and all the ballast and all the rest of it. So yeah, it might look like just a very simple setup with wood and in two different levels, but it does represent quite a bit of work, that. And I'm going to take a break now and come back to do the ballast and everything afterwards. Well, I did have a break, but now I'm due another one because I've been doing all of this ballast. It just is staggering every time I do this sort of thing for a long section, just how many pieces you get through and how long it takes. And well, I've sort of run out of practically everything. Definitely run out of 1x4 brown tiles, though I appreciate there's some on this pump wagon I don't really need because I've got a fully functional one, so I'll probably cannibalise that. I've run out of 1x2 tiles about here onwards on the second part of the track, and I've run out the 2x4s from there, just a few missing, and I've probably got enough to cover that still upstairs in the old Lego room that I could grab for now. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to get ordering again, yet again. So we've got one crossing in here, and I'm kind of guessing that's in the right place. And I've got the grey tiles to cover that over. It's a bit of a shame using a nice green road base plate when only 2 studs worth are actually showing the road going off into the Waldebrick Derby, but you know, it's necessary, I guess. And we'll disguise the transition from bright green into green later, because, well, the road will continue out here, do a bit of winding or something going around a farm. So essentially it'll all need covering with rides sort of on the join or something like that. So it's all camouflaged in due course, or maybe just foliage or anything really. So yeah, that is fine. So I've still got to put the track on, of course, and all the barriers and the sort of lighting and all the rest of it that goes with a level crossing. And I've even started the other one over here, where we've got another straight base plate and a T-junction out the other side, so we can kind of service the bit near the docks and whatever will be that way on the sort of headland bit, which will be the bit I'll be crawling under in due course. And this wasn't so much of a waste of a straight base plate, because this one's been damaged. It's really badly sort of stress marked and scratched and so on. But the 2 studs again that are visible outside all of these slopes is in good nick, so that is actually quite good, and I think I've got enough tiles to do that. I'm considering moving that trapped car, that's the smart car, in between 2 tracks to this sort of area because it will be quite visible and quite fun to see in a nice open position. So yeah, that'll be good there. And I'm just starting to think about the industrial sort of facades that we could have along this side, and I was thinking about my lovely spherical tank with all the octane colouring that we did a while back. And I was thinking, technically, you could split that globe into 2 halves and have it like a facade with the studs sort of facing towards the room, and then maybe split the ring into 2 halves and have 2 of them side by side, but just sort of near half. I don't know if that would look good or if it'll even work, but it's just a sort of early thought since it was close at hand. But yeah, one more strip of rail, and it just shows how many parts are going to be required to get it the rest of the loop, not to mention the bit that's going to be going through the middle as well. Whew, loads more to do. Good, all in and looking rather wonderful, all the way down to here, complete now. I have run out of 1x8 tiles in light bluish grey, so I'll have to add them to the shopping list as well, though I think I might replace them with some 4x4s if I get the chance. But we've got everything absolutely stud perfect all the way along here, along here, along here, and all the way to the next level crossing, which is also complete and looking very nice indeed. So that's great. I've also added some little cupboards here for the train engineers with some gubbins on the inside that they obviously need to fiddle around with, kind of like a giant fuse box, I think. So that's fun there. I've got another one up the other end. I may have to get some more of those for other areas of the city. I've also added some frolicking rabbits. As requested by one of the lovely subscribers of this channel. So there is your shiny bedoing for that idea. And yeah, it took absolutely ages, as you might imagine, putting all of these ballast one by ones in place, but it is looking rather good now. And yeah, we have got quite a large proportion of our loop. Indeed, temporarily, I've boxed myself in on the passenger line, just making some struts so I could fit the two halves of the city together for the first time. So it's just balanced on these giant storage boxes and a few other bricks. I have to take it down again in a minute so I can actually get out. And it just so happens there's an exact number of track pieces from one end of the city to the other. I kind of thought I was going to have to use some of these fractional ones. The 8 long, 4 long, 3 long, 2 long, or even 1 long, or a combination of the above from Trix Bricks to get the proportions exactly right. But it seems to fit, though it is incredibly close, a very close run thing. So it might be that I need to swap one of the regular 16 long pieces for a 15 stud long and just have a tiny bit more of a gap against one of the walls or even both of them. So what that means is I can actually get one of my passenger trains to do 3/4 of a loop. Ooh, exciting. So that's what we're going to do next. I mean, it's kind of exciting, isn't it? Proving the concept that there are no obstacles that are going to get hit and so on. So here we go. We'll set this running. Let's do it relatively slowly to start with. Going behind all of those buildings. Crossing 1, crossing 2, and around that corner. Shimmy for the bridge. Shimmy. The bridge. Shimmy back. And then past all the train sheds, running over the man in the pit inspection, and then careering right off the end of the line. Hey! So I thought that would be a bit of entertainment for what has been otherwise quite a dry session, but a very important session because we've got great big long views of track like this now that we know we can fill all the details and gaps in between in coming weeks and months. So yeah, it is absolutely great. And that mine scene just looks so incorporated now with everything surrounding it on all sides. And I still love the different colour of sleepers there. But yeah, just surrounding it a little bit more and having the base plate's colours only change underneath the tracks is a really good effect. So yeah, this room is definitely miles better than the last one and continues to come together well. I'm happy, if tired. Another idea, of course, is to have a farm-like facade all the way along this wall. I mean, we could have the far corner farm in the corner, but then have wheat fields and orchards and stuff like that all the way along here. The only problem with that is it is quite low profile, so we could do the odd barn or something like that as well. But then again, I don't know. What do you think? We can't really get tractors in here. Well, maybe a tractor, but definitely not a combine harvester, that's for sure. Only 8 studs to play with, so maybe we should start it industrial at that end and then can kind of flip into farmland when we get over here. I don't know. It's all going to be behind a very active fairground anyway, so quite frankly, whatever we do, it's probably going to be quite hard to see it. But anyway, yeah, I've put together the rest of my white fast passenger train, as you can see, just so we can see that as our closing shot. But yeah, well, we've made a lot of progress today, doing quite a big section, as well as the tables and that supporting structure underneath today, as well as the crossing over here and our temporary bridge. So I think it's been quite a successful session, though probably not the most groundbreaking ever. But hey ho, let's get this thing going. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. Ooh, love that shimmy. And do remember that you can support this channel by checking out some of the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, ooh, perfect, we'll be doing something else in the city, though I haven't decided what. I'm still thinking about doing this cross-section over here with the sewers and all the rest of it. But then again, I have been getting all the parts for a lot more buildings recently, so maybe we'll get on with one of those projects as well. So, until next time, see you! Let's get this thing going back. Ooh, wheel spin.